The invisible architecture of identity. Why your future is hidden in your daily routine. 1. The myth of the gifted few. You've been lied to about success. Society loves to frame achievement as a mysterious, spontaneous event, a stroke of lightning reserved for the gifted. You look at the millionaire in the supercar, the athlete on the championship stage, or the man who commands a room with effortless authority, and you tell yourself he was born different. You call it luck because that excuse protects your ego from your own lack of discipline. The world sees the visible results, the trophies, the displays of power, and the status. But it never sees the invisible actions that forged the man. It misses the thousands of mornings you refuse to wake up while he is already working. It ignores the nights you chase distraction while he remains focused. It overlooks the relentless repetition that eventually stops being an action and becomes an identity. The reality of high performance is not cinematic. Your life does not change through dramatic, singular leaps or grand gestures. It is reshaped through quiet, daily repetitions. You are not witnessing a mysterious event. You are witnessing the compound interest of habits. Your current life is simply the sum total of your routines, magnified over time to create a trajectory toward either total freedom or a self-imposed prison. 2. Casting votes. Your habits define your identity. Your habits are not just tasks on a to-do list. They are the evidence you provide to your own subconscious. Every action you take is a psychological signal that dictates who you believe you are. When you wake up early instead of hitting snooze, you aren't just starting your day. You are casting a vote for a disciplined identity. When you train your body while your mind begs for rest, you are confirming your status as a person of strength. Identity is the only permanent driver of behavior. Motivation is a fraud. It fluctuates with your mood and evaporates when things get difficult. Identity, however, is a framework. Once you truly view yourself as a disciplined man, you stop negotiating with excuses. Discipline is no longer something you do. It is who you are. You don't have to find the will to work if your identity doesn't allow for laziness. Every single day you are casting votes for the person you will become. 3. Your brain is always watching. Your mind is a constant, impartial observer of your behavior. It doesn't listen to your goals or your dreams. It only tracks your patterns. It builds trust or doubt based on the evidence of your actions. Confidence is not magic. It is a byproduct of reliability. When you keep the promises you make to yourself, you provide your mind with the evidence it needs to believe in your power. When you break those promises, you are literally training your mind to be weak. The internal evidence cycle, how confidence is built. Your mind observes a consistent pattern of follow-through and reliability. This creates an internal foundation of self-trust that manifests as genuine power in your eyes. How weakness is built. Your mind watches a pattern of excuses and broken promises. It learns that your word is worthless, reinforcing an identity of doubt and hesitation. 4. Comfort is the silent prison of the distracted modern society as a trap engineered to profit from your weakness. Every notification, every endless scroll, and every hit of cheap dopamine is designed to break your focus. This is not accidental. Distracted men are easier to control. A man who cannot focus never discovers his potential because his attention is constantly being auctioned off to the highest bidder. In this environment, comfort becomes a lethal addiction. It is terrifying because it is silent. It doesn't kill you instantly. It just slowly drains your ambition until you are a ghost of the man you could have been. Every time you choose temporary pleasure over growth, you reinforce an identity built on avoidance. Your mind knows when you are wasting your potential, and that hidden frustration is the high cost of a comfortable life. The most dangerous addiction in the modern world is not drugs, it is comfort. 5. Consistency beats intensity. Every single time, average people are obsessed with outcomes, the abs, the money, the status. Winners are obsessed with the routine. Success is a compound effect. Transformation is like a seed growing underground. For a long time, there is no visible progress, but the roots are deepening. If you only work when you are intense or motivated, you will lose to the man who is consistent every single day, regardless of how he feels. Small actions versus long-term realities. Reading 10 pages a day becomes thousands of pages of specialized knowledge that separates you from the ignorant. Training 1 hour a day results in a physical and mental transformation that makes you unrecognizable in 3 years. Saving money consistently leads to a level of financial freedom that looks like luck to the undisciplined. 6. Growth requires the friction of resistance. Biological and psychological growth require stress. Think of your mind like a muscle. For a muscle to grow, you must lift weight that is heavy enough to damage the fibers so they can rebuild stronger. The same principle applies to your character. You need controlled hardship to sharpen your mind and reduce the power of fear. If you avoid the cold shower, the hard conversation, or the grueling workout, you aren't staying safe. You are destroying your self-respect. Avoidance is the path to cowardice. When you repeatedly put yourself in uncomfortable situations, your brain adapts. Pressure becomes familiar. Stress becomes manageable. Growth only lives in the friction of resistance. When you survive discomfort, you stop asking, "Do I feel like it?" and start operating based on the requirements of the man you are becoming. Conclusion: the future is hidden in your routine. Time is a neutral multiplier. It takes whatever habits you currently have and magnifies them over the span of a decade. Discipline creates momentum, and momentum eventually leads to an extraordinary life. But if you choose comfort, time will only magnify your regret. Regret is the ultimate price of mediocrity, the agonizing realization that you traded your potential for temporary convenience. The person you will be 1 year from now is being written today. Your identity is the sum of what you tolerate, what you consume, and what you do when no one is watching. Stop looking for a mysterious event to change your life and start looking at your calendar. The final thought: if someone watched your habits for 30 days, what would they predict about your future?